Distinctive brewing. When you're out in the town every Friday night, enjoying a couple cold ones with your friends, have you ever stopped and wondered how the beer you're holding was brewed? What you probably didn't realize is that these particular questions have been asked and answered repeatedly for thousands of years. As stated in Franz Muserdorfer's Starchy Raw Materials, brewing beer has been a human activity ever since the beginning of urbanization and civilization in the Neolithic period. Today I'll be showing you something we've all secretively wanted to do ever since high school. I'll be showing you how to brew your own beer. The first step to brewing beer is determining what ingredients and components will be going into your brew. As stated by Adam Clow, in every beer recipe you can throw in a wide arrangement of ingredients to give your beer the specific appearance, scent, flavor to make your beer unique. The main four components of beer are water, barley, starch, and yeast. While watching the informative DVD, Basic Brewing, I found out that the main components can vary in quality but are still reliable either way. And you won't always find that reliability in your home water. So, if you don't know what's in your water, you might be better off buying deionized water from your store. Clow also stated that you can add ingredients to those four main components to design your beer a specific taste to your liking. A couple things you can do is add in extra hops, grains, spices, and even go as abstract as adding chocolate or garlic. When brewing beer, you can be creative and adventurous with your ingredients, but this isn't the case with equipment. The equipment we'll be using has to function as one of the components I will be listing. Any error in the equipment can result in spoiled beer and/or accidents. My second step of brewing beer is getting the right equipment. It's good to determine what you need and where to find it. As stated at howtobrew.com in the article How to Brew by John Palmer, there's a list of items you'll need to successfully brew beer. The equipment will include an airlock, which will help prevent contamination, a boiling pot, which is stainless steel or aluminum, 3 gallons or larger, and then you're going to want to go with a fermenting pail, recommended 6 gallons in food grade plastic, a Pyrex measuring cup, which is, you're going to want the glass or heat resistant glass, a siphon with attached racking cane, a stirring paddle, also again a food grade plastic, and also a thermometer, which you can safely immerse into 40 to 180 degrees Fahrenheit. So, after watching Basic Brewing, I've learned that the key to brewing beer with this equipment is to make sure it's sanitary before using it. Any unsanitary equipment can alter the beer's flavoring and also potentially ruin it. As shown in the DVD, Basic Brewing, the steps to sanitizing your equipment represents soaking each in a solution of 2 ounces of bleach, mixed in with 5 gallons of water for 30 minutes. Once you get all this equipment sanitized and prepped to start, you are now ready to jump to the next step. The third and final step of brewing is starting the process. This is where all your organization and preparation pays off. This process will be kind of tricky if you don't follow the steps. I found all this information off the informative video, Basic Brewing, directed by James Spencer. You will start the process by putting the pot on the burner. You want to make sure that the burner is turned all the way up and also to toss in the thermometer. You'll want to prep the grains before putting them in the boiling water. You'll want to crack open the kernels with a rolling pin, just so then you can get the full potential out of your grains. Because if none of the shells don't crack open, then none of them will release their flavoring, I guess. And after you get them all cracked open, you're going to want to dump them into the cheesecloth. And once in the cheesecloth, you can submerge them into the boiling water. And you'll want to take out the cheesecloth around 170 degrees Fahrenheit so the shells don't break down into your beer and give you an off flavor. It is now time to add in the malt extract. And you want to make sure that you add it in slowly and gradually stir it to make sure that it doesn't settle to the bottom. Once the malt extract is settled, add in the hops and stir for a couple minutes. After that is boiled, you'll stir them in for, well, after it's boiled, then you can stir it in. The hops added to the bitterness and aroma of the beer and also add more flavor. After those steps, you will now want to let it boil for an hour. After an hour of boiling, turn off the burner and let it cool down for 75 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. The best way to do this is to place it in an ice bath and gradually stir the plate with a plastic spoon. I just want to remind you that sanitation is crucial in the process of brewing. Once the wort is cooled down, you can now transfer it to the fermenting container. When dumping the wort into the fermenting pail, make sure that you have a strainer in place so none of the leaves and larger particles get into the second fermenting pail. After this, it's now time to add in the yeast to the wort. After stirring in the yeast a little, put on the lid and shake it so the beer gets more oxygen. Now you'll want to attach the airlock onto the fermenting pail, which its main purpose is so then it lets the oxygen out, but it doesn't let oxygen back in. After the couple days has passed by fermenting, you will now start the second fermenting cycle. This process happens because all the yeast dies and settles to the bottom, and you don't want that to be in your beer. So you'll do this process by using the racking cane, which you're gonna put water in this and then pour it out into the second fermenting pail to kind of get a siphon going and get more of a current. And once you finish that step, you'll want to add the lid to the airlock on the fermenting container and leave it in a dark area for a couple weeks. Once you let it ferment for its designated time, you can now start the bottling process. But before you do this, you're going to want to add at least 3/4 of a cup of dextrose, which is corn sugar, to your 5 gallons of beer. This will help add carbonation to your beer. And once again, from all this process, I received all the information from the DVD, Basic Brewing. Brewing your own beer, in my opinion, is like creating a type of edible art that you can be proud of and also utilize in your day-to-day life. You now know that it's not a hard process once you get and gather the necessary equipment and decide which type of ingredients to use and develop an organized brewing process. I hope that my presentation of this process is helpful and inspiring to you as considering the brewing yourself. As Ben Jonson of the 14th century dramatist and poet once said, "As he brews, so shall he drink." I will leave you with my own interpretation of this quote: "As we drink, so shall we brew." And now I'm going to show my audience.
We have been informed